It's Lee Terrier from PW Mania here with the one, the only, the next Progress Men's World Champion, Tate Mayfairs. How are you doing, sir?
Fantastic, man. And I like that intro. You're right. Not only the next, but the greatest that will ever be in the history of Progress Wrestling. February 23rd is a big day. Can't wait to get there.
Mate, and this is the thing. It feels like it's been an upwards trajectory for you, right? From Progress. I've seen a lot of your work there. I think you've been fantastic from the get-go, coming in out of the pandemic era into a
Mm,
new era of Progress, and
mm,
you've made your way through and through and through, every part of the card, stealing the show all the time.
mm,
And now at the end of 2024, after a big year, you
mm.
win the Thunder Bastard, and then not only do you sort of win it, you challenge Luke Jacobs, saying Chapter 177, February 23rd. Tell me about this journey. Tell me about why you chose to do it straight away in the new year.
Well, I mean, let's first of all look at the first thing you said, right? Like, I don't want to brush over that. I think that's such an important part of it. Is my journey. You know, nothing has ever been handed to me, and this isn't to say that um everyone else had things handed to them. But certain people, doors open quicker. They know the right person. They get in a little, that new era, that pandemic thing. Luke was straight away in the MPS and he won it immediately. Those opportunities were not the same. Uh, Other people have had multiple title shots and opportunities at this Progress Wrestling World title, along with multiple other titles that exist in the company. This is my very first title shot of any kind since being a wrestler at Progress Wrestling, in Progress Wrestling.
Wow.
Not a single title opportunity until this day. And I've been a year undefeated at Progress Wrestling in singles action, and that wasn't enough still. It took me beating 6 other people in the Thunder Bastard to get the key. And again, I could have just cashed it in or unlocked it in right there that night when Luke was battered and bleeding in the middle of the ring, but I didn't decide to. And that's the big thing. That's the big talking point. Because I've been someone through my whole run in professional wrestling who has not been shy of taking a shortcut. And I
Mhm.
think that, part of the reason why I've not been shy of taking a shortcut is because, like I said at the start, I've never been given a shortcut. I've never had the door open for me quickly in a way. So I know, you know, that's me making up for it. But now I'm here. Um, it's been a tumultuous year to say the least with Eddie Dennis, my
It
mentor,
has.
my trainer. Um, and I'm growing. I'm learning to be a bigger and a better man. I understand that I am as good as I say I am. I am capable of beating the very best without taking those shortcuts. And um, as much as I pretend that it doesn't matter or it doesn't hurt what other people think, it does. It does hurt me when the fans, say the things they do about me and they point out the way I go about winning and they use that as a way to discredit me and my abilities. So I don't want to have that mark against my name when I'm the Progress Wrestling World Champion. I want to hold that title and know that not just me, but everyone knows how great I am.
Which is, is it's refreshing to hear because, like you say, for most of, well, let's say all of your run really in Progress, you've generated a lot of anger from crowds month after month, year after year, and then it all just seemed to change with the whole scenario with Eddie Dennis, a
Mm,
great friend, talk
mm,
about the wedding and just being
yeah.
really close and obviously everything that's come from that. Like, yeah. So as you say that it means a lot to you for the fans. What about your peers now, and someone like Eddie? Does it mean the world that he's by your side, or having to beat him in the Thunder Bastard? Does it mean a lot that he's going to be sort of willing you to win?
Well, just beating Eddie alone, that's, you know, that's significant in its own right, because, like we said, it's been a tumultuous year with Eddie. And we wrestled a few times and I couldn't get the victory over him. And I should have, like, I had him beat, and but I wasn't able to do it until the Thunder Bastard, where I went through the other people first. So that was significant. What does it feel about the other people now? As with some of the fans, like, the rest of the locker room, they're not immediate to wrap their arms around me and bring me in. I have done a lot of things to upset a lot of people. I'm not going to hide away from that. I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to face up to that and own that. And again, I think that by winning the title this way against the champion who's been so dominant, I think that will win more respect and hearts and favor in the locker room, and I can lead this company, with dignity and with support of, the rest of the company. But of course, there's always going to be a target on your back and on your head when you hold that title, and even before then, it's no surprise or to me that the rest of the locker room isn't yet fully behind me. But we did see in the Thunder Bastard itself some hints towards better relations with some of the other talent. There was a moment in there where me and Kid Lycos locked eyes, and there was a moment of like, all right, okay, like you take care of that. Like, I'll leave you, and the same with Rain after she had got eliminated. And Rain, someone I've had, run-ins with across my time in wrestling. And there was a moment there before I eliminated Lana where she was like, you go ahead, you take this. So I feel like I am winning back favor. And the best way to do it, the only way to do it, is to beat Luke Jacobs, who has been a terror on the Progress Wrestling roster, and to do it the right way. So, like I say,
because that's the thing.
Couldn't come any sooner.
And that's the thing. What do you think from when people say, I've seen it on the Progress Wrestling website themselves, questioning whether this is simply a strategic play to get a little bit of backing from everybody, from the wrestlers, from the fans, that can give you that extra yard? But does that annoy you when you hear that, when they write things like that?
Annoy is the wrong word. That's something I've had a problem with before, is being quick to temper. Annoy is the wrong word. I understand. You know what I mean? It's been a long time, right? And so it hurts, but like, and I know my heart, I know my intentions. I think if you look at it logistically, it's like, if I wanted to, it was right there. I could have. Luke was bleeding, battered in the middle of the ring after going against two of Progress's, let alone indie wrestling world's best, man like Darius and Leon Slater, and he was battered and beaten. I could have just come down, and I didn't even need to come through the front. I could have, come through the crowd. I could have brought a weapon. I could have, it was there for the picking if I wanted it. So hopefully my actions speak louder than my words on that, and they certainly will, in this match. Like, yeah. Even if no one else is on board, like, as long as my heart's right, as long as my mentor and my best friend Eddie Dennis sees my heart and knows it, then I'm at one with myself, and I can hold this title being proud. The crowd are now behind me. The rest of them, how they feel about me or enter a situation is on them. But as long as I hold myself clear mind, clear heart, then I'm already a champion.
Yeah, man. And we are. I know I am for one willing you want to do this, because this is tough. This is Luke Jacobs. I mean, I'm sure you're well aware. He's tough, and he's defended that belt against a number of world-class competitors. You're the next world-class competitor he's taken on. How do you feel about it? How do you train? How do you prepare for someone like Luke Jacobs when you know, look, you're going in there, you could have done what people may have thought you were going to do, and won it in a cheap way, let's just say. But to go in there one on one, clean, how do you prepare for that? Because this guy is on some roll.
But he's on a roll, so am I. So am I. Like,
True.
look at my accolades. It's again, even respectfully, even you asking that question is the same thing I've dealt with my whole career, the overlooking my greatness. I have proven it. I've proven it. Another time to do it again. Never the first pick, but always the greatest to win it. And it's you shall see. You shall see, just like in the past. How do I train? Well, I always out-train and outwork everyone as it is. It's amusing to me the way that Luke the words that Luke used after unboxing about how he thinks he's like one of the hardest working people. That's amusing to like use that when you're about to go into a fight with me, because it's well known and documented and understood. Even my haters will say Tate's the hardest working man in the business.
Oh man, yeah.
So that's that. And now going into this, I am in the best shape of my life. And I know that's a common thing that people say, but like, if you look at the recent photos I've been putting out, I am truly in the best shape of my life. By the time we get to Feb 23rd, you shall see. I'm working harder than ever. My diet plan is as strict as ever. My gym plan is the strictest it's ever been. My head is the clearest it's ever been. You can't. As humans, we all face struggles, difficulties, demons, stuff like that, and in the past you've seen it right in the forefront. I have been a victim of dealing with it incorrectly, but I couldn't be in a clearer state of mind, and I have to thank Eddie Dennis for that, and I have to applaud myself for being able to take myself out of that and deal with myself in the mirror front head on, and really bring myself to be the best version of myself I have ever seen.
Yeah, and I think that is so great to hear, because I think everybody is wanting to see this match. We clearly know you've worked so hard, mate. I've seen you travel the globe. I've seen you on global television, big American global companies with AEW, which I'll ask you about in a bit. But I think this is the time. And with Luke Jacobs, as good as he is, he's had someone there. In the past, the Young Guns tag team we've seen recently.
Yeah.
They've really resurfaced.
Yeah.
Have you spoke to Eddie about whether you'd want him at ringside? Is that something you even thought about? Is that something you're ready to ask him? I know that might be personal, but yeah, is it something you have to consider, knowing what's happened with Luke?
Yeah, of course. Listen, if anyone knows the handbook on the dirty tricks, the misdirections, the smoke and mirror, it's me. I wrote that book. I read that book backwards, forwards, upside down, and I added chapters myself. Luke can think he's a smart guy all he wants. Ethan can think he's smart as well. But I'm not alone. I do have a friend. Eddie Dennis will be watching. I'm sure of it. He told me he will be in the building for me.
Wow.
I want to go at it alone. And I think if Luke's a man of his word, he should face me in the ring on his own. But if anything were to come astray, like, Eddie's going to be there. And like I say, I've got my head on a swivel. I know the whole book. So you're going to struggle to put one over on me. I'll tell you
Great,
that.
and that's good to hear, mate. That is very good to hear. And as I was saying, I've got to touch on the point of you making your AEW debut with Collision a few months back, and so rightfully deserved, mate. And how did that feel, sort of going over across the pond, being on national TV, global television, and taking on such a great opponent as you did? Like, how did that all come about? How did you feel? How was it working on national TV?
I mean, without pulling the curtain back too far on like the nitty gritty back, logistics of things. Like it was just, we've got the visa now. Thank God to the Progress Wrestling for taking care of so many of their top talent with this US visa. Last year I did 4 tours of the United States, including my last one was a 2-month tour, a real long one, longest one I did.
Brilliant.
But yeah, it was the second tour I went out there. I already had contact, with people at AEW who had said, when you're out, give us a shout. So I did. And they said, well, we got a match for you.
Brilliant.
And, the rest is history. It was an absolute pleasure working there. No complaints at all. It was, it was a lovely workplace. Everyone was really nice. And it was a great opportunity. It's not my first time working for big companies. I've done 6 months with WWE, with NXT UK, including that being televised on BT Sports at the time.
Of course.
Although that was like in this BT Sports studios coming out of the pandemic, so it was a smaller crowd than it was here. It's by far the biggest crowd I've wrestled in front of when I was at AEW Collision. But truly, this is me. I was built for this. I've done this since I was 14 years old. I train for this constantly, not just physically, but mentally. And the bigger the crowd, the bigger the opportunity, the more at home I feel. It was like a duck to water. I can just walk out there and I just feel alive and I just feel at home. You can see it in my performance. You can see it, in it. So, I feel like sometimes people expect, or I almost feel guilty that I'm meant to say like, oh, I was so nervous or I was so excited, or I just was not. This is me. This is my life. This is my journey. And it was another step on the road to where I want to go and be with this and part of the whole journey. And it was an absolute pleasure. And I look forward to more.
Brilliant. And with that in mind, when you become Progress World Champion, like, have you ever thought about like taking that title as far as it can go, defending it on every continent? Obviously, Vegas is coming up.
Yes.
Not too far for Progress. Is that in your mindset? Because you clearly deserve it, and you've got that. You've got that about you.
Well, I don't know if you're setting me up for this answer on purpose, or you are yet to kind of, I am the TNT World Heavyweight Champion for over 510. I lose count now, but every couple of weeks I get a little reminder sent to me. 510 plus days, I've been the TNT World Heavyweight Champion. Okay. That spans 3 years. It started in 2023. It's now 2025. I have beaten all of the biggest names in independent wrestling with it, including your current GCW World Heavyweight Champion, Effie. I've defended it on 3 continents. And last year alone, if you just look at the year of 2024, I defended the TNT World Heavyweight Championship, and the TNT World Heavyweight Championship under me was defended more times internationally than any championship in the entire industry of professional wrestling. That includes AEW, that includes WWE, that includes any company you can think of. I am the most legitimate World Heavyweight Champion in the world right now with the TNT World Heavyweight Championship, completely off of my own back, off of my own money, off of my own, no booking agent, nothing. Me, TNT World Champion. Now, when I beat Luke Jacobs and take the Progress Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship, combine it next to it, I become the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion. And with the backing of Progress Wrestling, I can take this to the most astronomical heights that independent wrestling has ever seen. This is a new era of Progress Wrestling that you've mentioned you were seeing me in. But this, the night after, February 23rd, we enter a brand new era of Progress Wrestling, the era of greatness.
Wow. Mate, I must say, man, you are fantastic in the way that you talk about what you've done, how you show it. Again, TNT, I've seen you across everywhere. I was fortunate enough to be at Hustle the other day, which, I said on my Instagram, I said, Tate is money, mate. You really are. You deserve everything, man. And I've got to say this. So, final words, February 23rd. Anything left to say to Luke Jacobs?
You know, Luke, this isn't personal. This isn't about you. You're an incredible wrestler. I ain't going to take that away from you. I've seen what you've done for years and years. But this truly, hope this don't hurt your ego. This has got nothing to do with you. This has got everything to do with me. I have been at the very bottom of the rung of Progress Wrestling. Before I even got in the ring, I was taping the cables to the floor. I was putting the beams in the ring. I was driving the ring round. I was setting up the lighting. I was setting up the stage. I was taking the imports in and out. I was doing everything that there possibly was. I got into the ring. I didn't get given an immediate way in. I only got my first match there because someone else was sick and someone else pushed me into that match. I had to work my way up the card bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. Even a year undefeated, I still didn't get a single title shot. I had to win the Thunder Bastard to get this shot. I could have taken it out on you right there and then, but I told you to your face like a man, see me in the ring, 23rd of February, and it is on. Your time is up. It's not about you. This has always been about me, about my journey to greatness. Because I have always said it's just a matter of time till every knee bends, every head bows, and every tongue confess that Tateness is greatness. And on February 23rd, they will also say he is the undisputed world heavyweight champion, Tate Mayfairs.
Tate, I cannot thank you enough for this. Good luck. I'll be there. I'll be cheering. All the very best. See you on February 23rd.
God bless. Woo-hoo. See you there, man.
See you.